It's time for guitar. Left my big guitar at school. I'm using the little guitar. It's fine. Whatever guitar you have, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's go post our link over on the website, denverguitarorchestra.com. We meet here Tuesday nights for. Whoops. What just happened there? What did I do here? Hold on. Space. Paste. Shift. Bold. Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open link in the window. Update. And before I hit update. Okay, that's all going fine. Alright, and update. Okay. And https://denverguitarorchestra.com denverguitarorchestra.com denverguitarorchestra.com enter guitar logo open tweet. Alright, there's that. Close. Close this. And let's view the page, make sure everything's up and running, and then we'll get started. We'll have I'd say some fun stuff and some really stupid stuff today. None of it's stupid, right? It's all good for you. Alright, so we'll fix that in just a little bit. Opened up to where it's supposed to be. Alright, and Linda is in, sounding good. 88 degrees still up there. That's terrible, Linda. I'm against that. I think that's terrible. Alrighty, let's see. Vic is in. Hey Vic, good to see you. We'll wait just a minute to see if Sandy makes it in. I got just posted the link. Should be here. I think she's coming. I don't know. And then of course anybody else who happens to wander through and want to learn to play classical and fingerstyle guitar, this is the place to be. Let's see. So today our plan is in book 1 to do a little bit more strumming. We did some last week. This week we were going to tackle, I believe, On Top of Spaghetti was one of them. And then we'll probably also do Kookaburra, just so you have a chance to do a F sharp minor. And then book 2 we're going to run through Alouette and Buffalo Gals today. Well, we'll play through Alouette, which is a great song, by the way. And then Buffalo Gals will be your homework. And then Ode to Joy we'll finish up Ode to Joy, new arrangement, and then we have another new arrangement On Top of Spaghetti. Now here's what's exciting. In book 1 we're going to do On Top of Spaghetti, and then in book 3 we're going to do On Top of Spaghetti. So we'll call this the All Spaghetti guitar lesson. And then our classical stuff today, I left Caruli on the top because the rest of the stuff is pretty short, and so if we have time we'll go back and we'll play the Caruli one more time. But Torito is kind of the nothing song. The two Klangbild songs, I just don't get them. I just don't understand why they're in the book. And then Iberian Dance is basically Malagueña, and you guys already have a way better version of that anyway. So we'll kind of make short work of those probably, and then we may finish up with the Caruli if we have time. All right, let's get going. So first off, we want to open up the strumming book, and I want you to go to page 12. Okay, and you guys will let me know if I told you a different plan than that. But I'd like to do On Top of Spaghetti as a strummer today. Okay, big thing when you're strumming and singing is 1, sing loud, because who cares, right? Even if you're a terrible singer, I will be singing loud and with joy in my heart as if I knew how to sing. And then the other thing that's important is make sure your chord is on by the first beat of when you're supposed to play it, which often means don't fall asleep on the current chord. Whatever chord is in your hand, who cares? It's the next chord that matters, and getting it on in time so that you're ready to go when it's time to put that chord on. What I see most of the time when people are struggling is they will strum too many times on the previous chord, on top of spa. Now they're already late, right? because they got to pull this off, move this over, get this down. Spaghetti, right? Well, by the time they get it on, spaghetti, I'm already on to the next two chords, right? And they're panicked, and the whole thing can be very unpleasant. So the thought here is, we'll start with how I would do it if I was a beginner, how I would do it as a next level player, and then how I would do it as a more advanced player. Okay, so we'll take each verse and do it in different ways. Okay, so first, put your A chord on. We're going to do it just one time. Okay? From the top, 1, 2. On top of spaghetti. Okay, then you change just one time. All covered with A chord, cheese. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. That's what you want to do. Okay, just one strum per chord. Once you've hit that chord, get your eyeball in the next one. Trust that I'm going to sing the song with the absolute most beautiful tones that I can possibly get out of this phase. Okay, so just one strum per chord. Get the chord on by the time you're supposed to be there. 1, 2. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. Okay, next verse, we're going to strum every beat. Okay, it'll be a lot harder to get your chord on at the correct time. Okay, and if you can't do all of the beats, that's fine. Get your next chord on when it's time, before it's time. Okay, starting with the A. It rolled off the table and onto the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. Okay, now, done with just nice steady beat. Now switch to your claw. Okay, as I was watching Monday night with the ukulele players and those guys coming in to do their end of the summer performances, a lot more thumb than I wanted to see. Thumb is great. Thumb works. Thumb will all of my arrangements, everything I do, thumb works. But don't make that your only way of playing. Make sure we're grabbing these claw shapes. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? From Roll Down the Gutter. It rolled down the gutter and under a bush, and now my poor meatball is nothing but mush. Now let's do an arpeggio pattern. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It rains, came down. The rains. We'll get the A there. The rains came down, soaked it as wet as can be, and early next summer it grew to a dream. Now let's do what most guitar players do. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Really big. You gotta sing loudly over the top of that. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew lovely meatballs, all covered in sauce. Finish up. It ate spaghetti, all covered in cheese. Hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. So dumb. All right, so the big thought process there is, one, make sure your chord is on by the time you need it, and that often means less strumming in the previous chord. Get your chord on by the time you need it. You can sense it coming. Your whole body's like, you got a chord change coming. You probably better get over there. And so listen to your body. It knows how music works. And so if we can get our brains out of the way and just hear and feel that chord coming, and we're like, okay, next chord's a D. You can get it on before you need to be there, so that you're ready to go to strum that first beat in the neck, whenever that chord shows up. The second thought there, which is probably more important, or I don't know if it's more important, but it's equally important, using your right hand in all possible ways. Okay, so most of the time that I'm working, most of the time when I'm working, I'm in this position: 1, 2, 3, 4. But lots of times when I'm doing arranging, I do it thumb down, right? Because I want that nice, beautiful guitar, deep-bodied sound to it. Right? I want to hear all of that. This is not such a great sounding guitar, but it's good enough. Right? And then, so I use a lot of thumb when I'm doing that. When I'm singing, okay, and which is rare, but if I have to, I want to be able to sing with arpeggio plucking. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the other thing I want to be able to do is, guys, it looks like we might be having some kind of technical difficulties through YouTube. It seems like my settings here all look 100% fine, but the concurrent viewers is going crazy. So I don't know if you guys are getting kicked out or not. I hope you're there. If you're not, hopefully this is recording and you can come back and double check it. So thumb playing, claw plucking, and arpeggio playing are the three ways that I think I play almost all of the time. I don't do a ton of this type of strumming because I'm not a singer. Video and good. Okay, so Vic, you're hanging in. All right, good. This one, that's for singers, right? They want a nice loud guitar so that they can really belt it out over the top of it. And for some of you, that's an important way to be able to play. That's where the pick comes in, and you see guitarists playing with picks up and down. They want their guitar really loud because they're going to be singing really loud into a microphone, and everybody's going to hear them, and they're going to be very popular, right? So that's a way to make your music on your guitar that we don't cover very much of. Zip over to page 10. The last thing we're going to do out of this book here is on Kookaburra, on page 10. Kookaburra has the delightful and beloved F sharp minor. Remember we talked about it on page 1. Your bar goes on 2. Ring and pinky go up on 4. Okay. Isn't that a cool sound? Yeah, okay, that's what I'm having too, Linda, is that it says concurrent viewers 1, and 1 second I go, and then I get this little chart that bounces along, and for a while it said there's nobody, and then for a while it said there's 8. So I don't know what's going on. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're here. So just remember, when you get to that F sharp minor, you want to try to do it. And if it sounds like this, that's how you're doing it right now. That does go away. Don't spend any time worrying about the fact that your bar chords sound clunky. Don't spend any time worrying about it. Make your bar chords, do the best you can. 2 years after you start bar chords, they magically fix themselves. Okay, but it's a long-term process, and we'll talk often about how to make better bars. Right, rolling it back, rolling it forward, pushing it up, pulling it down. Do you have to really use the entire bar? Can you use partial bar? Right? All of that stuff comes into play when you're struggling with getting a bar on. But don't make it the main focus of your playing, because it can be very demoralizing. You'll notice I'm taking my middle finger and pressing down on the bar here. Okay? I do that plenty. If my middle finger's not doing anything, why not? Stick it up there, right? Help things be clean. We're going to play Kookaburra all the way to the bottom, 5 verses, and try to pick a different right hand pattern or do something different. We'll run out of choices, but do something interesting and different with your chord, with your right hand each time. Doesn't have to be what I'm doing, just whatever makes you happy. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, they thought a monkey, that's me. Into that one. Kookaburra sits on a rusty nail, gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, Kookaburra, cry, Kookaburra, oh how life can be. Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree, very merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. There. So that's the strumming book. This is an important moment for me to say this. I am going to take next week off from this class. We will be back September 7th. Okay, but I got a bunch of stuff to do to get ready for some stuff that's going to be happening on Thursday. And so I have to take this class. You kept up pretty good. Hey, nice job. And I, of course, am not doing a great job playing for you guys, right? So, yay, that's exciting. I would say everybody bought guitars in the 70s because they wanted to play Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan and the Beatles and all that stuff. And then they quit because all those teachers back then taught was chords. That's still really mostly what guitar teachers teach, sadly. And once you find out how difficult and how complicated and getting chords on and strumming and singing and all that stuff, that's not what you guys bought guitars for. You thought, I'll buy a guitar and then Joni Mitchell will magically come out of it. And that's not true either, right? And so a lot of those guitars just ended up not going anywhere because it's really hard to play with chords. It's really, really hard. And you have to sing. And so I do pretty light duty on that kind of stuff because I know that's, for most of you, that's not the way you want to play. You want the guitar to do the work for you. So in the event that's the way you want to play, you're set for life. You just go to ultimateguitar.com. Every single song that you've ever heard of is already written out with the lyrics and the chords, and then you just do whatever it says. But it's really meant for singers, and so playing the guitar itself and shutting your mouth is a different activity. But to finish up the previous discussion, I'm going to miss this class next week. And then along with that, some of the harmonica classes are going to get canceled. I didn't mention that to them today. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, I have some stuff I got to deal with. And so I'm going to cancel these classes for this week. So if you are on Book 1 legit, the great thing to do, I'm going to post on there, I want you to replay the whole entire book so that when we come in September 7th, we'll replay the whole book, and then we will start fresh, beautiful, lovely, as if you know nothing, on September 14th for this group. Okay? So you'll have the entire Book 1 to play through this week. Book 2, let's go take a look at what we're doing for you guys. Book 2, we're going to play Alouette today. So let's go grab that. Book 2, Alouette. All right. And hopefully you had fun playing this week. It's a great song. It really is. I don't know. And this raven is outside making too much noise. And so the narrator, guy or girl, not sure who, non-binary narrator, is going to tear this bird limb from limb. And so that's what the song is about. I used to teach that this was a song you would teach to children for plucking chickens. But the more I've read about the song, the more I'm dubious whether that ever actually happened. I do think it's a great song for murdering a noisy bird outside the window. All right. D chord and A7. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, j'en plumerai, j'en te plumerai la tête, j'en te plumerai la tête, et la tête, alouette, alouette, oh, 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 go. Gentille alouette, alouette, j'en te plumerai. Okay, so that's the chords. These are the two easiest chord sets probably in guitar. I don't think that I know of any that are easier than these two. D with A7 and back. Really lovely arrangement here on the guitar. And so you'll see, because of that, you'll find a lot of songs in the key of D that you can play if you're in singing and you like guitar. A lot of guitar players and a lot of guitar writers will write in the key of D just because, geez, how much better can I do that? D, A7, D, and you guys know enough about theory now. D, E, F, G is your other chord, and B minor is this one. But you can go D, G, A7, D. Well, you don't even have to put those two fingers up there. Just use the bottom 4 strings. And you can write a lot of music with just that little bit of emotion there. Hey Sandy, welcome in. Glad you're here. All right, so that's Alouette chords. Now let's play the melody. This is something I ask you always to do in all sheet music, no matter how advanced you are, no matter how much you really want to play the tough acts. I think playing through the melody gives you a chance to study where the eighth notes and the quarter notes are. That's what I think it does. And normally I just play the melody with my thumb, but it's not a bad idea for you to practice playing it with your index and middle as well. One time through, just the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. then go. Isn't that lovely? That's a lovely tune. Okay, now let's go talk about the tough acts. And if you're on book 2, this is a lot, right? This is really, this is a pretty friendly arrangement, honestly. If you were working on getting better at tough acts, this is a great place to do it. This song really is going to work out. There's one big stretch in your pinky that you got to do, but outside of that, it's pretty compact and pretty nicely placed. Okay, let's go nice and slow. Thumb down or claw plucking. You should do both, but pick one and just enjoy the ride. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. There. If that makes sense to you, if you're playing that, if everything on there worked for you, you are set for a very pleasant rest of your life playing on guitar, or frankly the same exact skill set on ukulele. And there will never be an end to how much fun you can have. Because all songs are going to cooperate with this basic pattern. Obviously, as you move into book 3, book 4 stuff, the chord structures get much more complex. The melodies get faster and more complex and interesting, I think. But the same skill set is right there the whole way through. There's nothing you see on here that you're not going to run into in the future. And all of this is just really good getting your brain wrapped around the philosophy here of how fingerstyle guitar works. And suddenly you can play. Suddenly, you don't even need tablature. At some point, you'll be like, all right, I know where the notes are. I just need to know what chords to go under there. And you will magically just stick them on. And so that's what's pretty cool about it. Because chord melody is fabulous. It's like magic. And I've talked about this on a regular basis, but when I discovered that I could do that I had the knowledge to do that on ukulele, based on I didn't know about tablature before I bought a ukulele, and that I realized all I have to do is play the melody, and then whenever I can, squish in part of the chords underneath it, and it sounds amazing. I'm literally 20 years into this writing these stupid things out, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Like, I love it. I absolutely adore the fact that you can take this instrument, not a word comes out of your face, and you just sit and play these wonderful songs, and you can do it all day long, and it'll never be ending. And then, of course, you know, if to take it to crazy level, then we've got classical, that whole repertoire there, which is essentially fingerstyle guitar without the chords. That's what classical is. They get mad when I demean them like that. All right, let's talk about Buffalo Gals. Now remember, you got 2 weeks to work on this one, and it's not worth the 2 weeks, so don't get stuck here and think, I don't know about this one. It's actually a very cute song. I really like it. It's from those old minstrel shows, so that's obviously problematic. But this one I didn't have to go in and sanitize the lyrics. A lot of times I do on those old-fashioned tunes. This one is just what it was. And now the important skill set here is G chord to D7 and back. That's really important because that's going to come up a lot in guitar. You're going to do a lot of G chords that are backed up by D7s. So spend some time just working on that. Let's play through it once. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a pretty little gal, she chanced to me. Oh, she was fair to see. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? And you can change the word to buff. Change it to your hometown. Let's see if it works. Vancouver girls, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Vancouver girls, won't you come out? Yeah, it works. How about Eugene? Eugene girls, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. It works with Eugene. You got to stretch out those syllables. And let's see, Sandy's in the middle of the woods in northern Michigan. Upper Michigan girls, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Upper Michigan girls, won't you come out tonight and dance by the Aurora Borealis? I'm assuming you can see the aurora once in a while up there. I don't know about Vancouver. I don't think you can in Eugene, but I think you can maybe in Vancouver, maybe Upper Michigan. I don't know. All right, so those are your two chords. Those really the problem with G going to D7 is everybody's got to come up. You got to go way over here and then come back. Okay, so it's not that. You see a lot of songs in the key of G, but you don't have to. Unfortunately for guitar, it's actually kind of a lot of work because your other chord will be a C chord. So you've got dum 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 dum. So there's a lot of motion in that particular key with your anchor chords. I've given you enough melody. We don't need to play through the melody. That will be your job this week, just to play through. And then with the tough axe, I'm suggesting, again, like we did on Three Blind Mice, that you use, for the most part, middle and ring up here. Okay, that leaves your pinky available to do some other work and will help you get to your D7 when it's time. If you use it in regular G chord, but it's just a good opportunity to practice that. Anchoring your index in the middle. Spend a little bit of time on this. You're supposed to play it through 4 times. I don't know if I've ever played all 4 times except for myself. But they're really cute lyrics. He just meets this girl on the street and they dance. It's cute, right? You can see him up there. Yeah, Sandy, I thought you could. I have this image of Sandy living up, like, down this dark, scary road, right, made out of mud, and then you get there, and it opens up into this fabulous chateau, and there's the Aurora Borealis, and it's all, you see the Milky Way, and a moose is coming by. That's that's where I think Sandy lives. I'm pretty sure that's true. All right, there's Buffalo Gals. 2 weeks on that, guys. You got 2 weeks on that, and again, Never feel like you can't go ahead and move around in the books. I'm going through them sequentially one at a time. But if you're like, I don't like Alouette, I'm gonna skip over to something else. That's okay. It really is. Let's go play Ode to Joy out of Book 3. This was new last week, and so who knows if I can even play it. Ode to Joy guitar. And what I think I discovered for myself last week was, holy cow, this has, when we play it in harmonica, it's just a lovely melody. But when we play it on guitar, there's a lot of chords, and they're not exactly the world's easiest chords. So, let's see how we do on this. It's in the key of C, so you are definitely pushing your outer limits in terms of what's going to be easy to get your fingering on. Okay, let's see what happens here. No moose, but on a lake, yes, muddy road. After the yes. Nice. See, I'm pretty close to right. And there's a moose. You just haven't seen it. He's high. He hears you coming. There's a moose. Come on, Sandy. All right, from the top. Let's just do the tough acts. 2 times through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Phew, that's a lot, right? Again, I would say if that's too much, it's probably too much. It's a lot, right? That's definitely feels book 4-ish almost. The only reason it stays book 3 is 1, it's public domain. That's the main reason. But 2, quarter notes, right? Quarter, 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 quarter. There's a few eighth notes in there, but really, even though it's a very complex left-hand arrangement, the melody itself and all that's pretty straightforward. So so play the melody a few times and then really work on that. I would say the skill set there is lovely. Like those are skills that are definitely going to be useful down the road. I like the arrangement. I think it works. I think you guys have been playing on harmonica for a long time, but when you add in all these crazy chords, it turns crazy. It gets wild pretty quick. The one part I consistently measure 11. I go from that G, and that E7 is sitting there, and it's just like, what is that chord doing there? It doesn't make any sense. I know how it ended up there. It's this fifth of the sixth is why it's sitting there. I think there's some fancy music theory term for that. But the E7 is the fifth of the A minor, and A minor is the relative minor of your major key of C. And so it's sitting there, and every time, but it comes right after a G, and you're just like, what? Are you sure that's not supposed to be an A minor? And I'm like, okay, just trust the paperwork. And so it is right, but it is scary when I hit that note. All right, now here's what's exciting. We worked on top of spaghetti strumming style earlier. Now we're going to work on top of spaghetti. You got 2 weeks to get this thing done. On top of spaghetti, tough uke, right? And the chords are this. Now we did it in the key of A for the strumming book. On top of spaghetti, right? We did it in the key of A. Now we're going to do it in the key of C. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. Way harder to play. And here's the thing, guys. That C chord, here's your F chord. That's how you play it. Okay, yeah, and then back to C. Okay, so don't worry if your F chord's terrible. Put it on. Talk yourself into doing this activity. And then if it sounds like that, that's just the way you played it today. Eventually it comes in better. And then of course, you got a G to a G7. That's kind of a tough motion. When you see G to G7, just try to remember to use the alternate G form, middle ring and pinky. And you can get to the G7 easily enough. You'll see that a lot in guitar music, the G going to a G7. And you're just supposed to remember, hey, I got to put the alternate G shape on, which allows my index finger to be free to get the G7. So that's the chords, the melody, the melody. I would say in terms of songs you want to play really slow on Tough Uke, this is it. Let's just go through it real quick and just make sure there's nothing that crazy. C chord on, first note's a 1. Ready? 1, 2. Pinky, and now you're going to do this. Those of you guys in ukulele, B flat shape on 5 with your pinky. Take your pinky off. Go use your bar to get the 1. That gives you time to get the rest of the chord on. C chord with your pinky. Of course, when you get to measure 6/6, however many times you do it, if you do all, how many times are there? 6 total. If you get to the very end, C chord, bum, bum, a bar on 5, pinky on 8. That's a C chord on guitar. Those of you guys in ukulele will recognize that as your F chord up the neck. Okay, but on guitar, it's a C chord, or on baritone ukulele. Okay, and I would say that little section right there at measure 3 is the hard part. Bar on 5. Just do a mini bar. You don't need to do a full bar. C shape in front. Okay, for those on ukulele, that's your F shape, and then your pinky's on 8. We do that a lot in ukulele, less so in guitar, but this does come up. It's okay, so that's what you're going to be working on. Pretty hard song, actually. Play it really crazy slow. Right? And you guys know I always make fun of this song as a song of hope. But the slower you play it, the funnier it is. People always go, on top of spaghetti, because you're singing with kids. But if you sing it really slow, or let your guitar just treat it as like it is a funeral march, you'll end up with a really funny and really good presentation of it. So that's it. That's On Top of Spaghetti. 2 weeks to work on that. There we go. Now, if you are just doing fingerstyle, you're done for the week, and you're done for 2 weeks. Again, remember just that I won't be here next Wednesday. I'll be here the following Wednesday. And again, if stuff's going poorly for you, send me an email. I can probably write you back. If things are going great, don't feel like you can only work on one song at a time. You probably should limit the number of songs you work on. I like to work on 3 at a time. That's sort of my thing. I like to practice for 18 minutes and then take a break, and then another 18 minutes and take a break, and another 18 minutes and take a break. That's what I like to do, and I divide that practice group, generally speaking. I like to do my technique stuff first. Anything that's complicated or hard or stuff I'm working on for stretching fingers or whatever, I do a little bit of that. Then I spend the bulk of my 18 minutes, and 18 minutes comes from TED Talks, so that's why you can do 20, you can do 15, something like that. The bulk of that time is spent on my new material, the stuff that I'm working on that's hard to do, and I'm really trying to get down. That I'd say, let's say if it's 18 minutes total, I'd say the first 2-3 minutes are technique. Probably then the next 10 minutes is difficult work. And I don't do more than that because your brain falls apart. And then at the end, I always play something that I just love. And I'm usually these days I'm pulling stuff off of our classical music page all the time. Just playing that stuff, or a Beatles tune, or something that I just enjoy, because I always want to end a practice session on something positive, because most of the practice session is a ton of negative, right? You just can't do stuff. So remember to always wrap up a practice session, and even if it's only 18 minutes, right? That's sort of my sweet spot, where the first 15 minutes or so I'm working pretty hard, but then the last 2, 3, 4 minutes I want to just enjoy playing guitar. And when you're working all the time, like even now my shoulders are all tight and stiff because I'm wanting to do good. Then you get to the end and you're like, I'm gonna go play Alouette, and you just have a lovely time. All right, so that's a thought about practicing. You have 2 weeks and on all that stuff. Now, classical people, let's move on to this. Here's the thing. I think that I hate these 2 Klangbild songs, and I'm looking at them trying to figure out, what's in them worth the effort of doing them? I think the answer is no. We're gonna go ahead and do them, but I'm not married to them. When I put the list up for today, I initially deleted the Klangbilds because I don't like them so much. But then I put them back in, and Gary, you said you were going to play the whole book, so we're going to play the whole book. So I'm following a rule that I created that is not really a rule. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Let me find where is my guitar? RCM 0, that's what I did. All right, so let's go first. We're not going to do we'll skip over Carulli, go straight to Torito, and let's play that one. That one's actually kind of interesting. So here we go, Torito. On Torito, if you're just reading the sheet music, you can get confused that when you get to measure 7, it looks like you're supposed to play one note and then the same note over and over, but you don't. You're still staying this arpeggio pattern. And the 2 notes that sound the same, second on 5 and the open first string, that's how you get those same notes. So I think the Torito's in the book in order to catch students who are not paying attention to their fingering. Now, we don't have that problem because I give you the fingering in the tablature, or I don't give you the fingering necessarily, but you there's no question you'd be like, oh yeah, I know how to play that. But if you look at the standard notation there, it could be easily confused. Okay, the reason I bring it up is because I confused it. All right, let's play Torito. Just one shot, best shot. You're going to be moving from the 2s, 3s, and 5s, and then in the second half of the song, you're going to change strings, 2s, 3s, and 5s. That's the whole song. Here we go. 1. It's in 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Should be 1E and 2E and. That's how you would have counted in music school. Let's just count it in 4. Okay. 1, 2. 1 and 2 and ready, go. And 2, 3. Opens. And then back to your 2s. 3. Louder. Quiet down. Okay. Change your strings and go. 3. Quiet down a little bit. Opens. 2s. Louder. 5. 3. Starting to get quieter. 8 chord at the end. It's kind of a fun little tune, really. I don't know if there's a ton to learn there, but I think it's basically just catching people who are only reading standard notation and catching them and doing it wrong and then teaching them, right? And so that I think that's why it's in there. All right, next one. Let's go take a look at these Klangbilds. Klangbild 11. My note on the top of this says, "This is dumb. Don't play." So we're gonna play it because I said we would, but it is a dumb song. And we'll take our time through it. Again, quarter note equals 60, and we're in 2/4 time. So we'll take our time. Don't play fast. And if you play terrible, it's fine. This is not a song I need that's leading to a skill set that's leading to something super important in my mind. From the top, 1 and 2 and. Oh, sorry, I should have gone dum. Okay, now go. What is it? 2, 3. That's this one. Okay, and then measure 8. Go ahead. And back to the top. Keep blowing through measure 4. I want to go back. This is the second time through. Measure 4, I'm treating it like 8th notes and it's quarter notes, so let's not do that. From measure 1, second time through. 1, 2, 1 and 2, and. Then you're supposed to go all the way back to the beginning. We're not going to do that. Let's just go to the ending. Okay, ready at 21. Ready, play. Okay, so it's I don't know. I don't even know what the point of this song is. I do think that it is not worth your time. All right, Klangbild 13. Klangbild 13 is not quite as goofy, and it does give you a chance to pluck a little arpeggios. So let's do that. Klangbild 13. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Pinky. I was on the wrong notes. Sorry. From major 4, go. 2, 3, that note. You're like, that can't possibly be right. Okay, and then go. Even though the last note's wrong, right? Like, what is in the world? So, yeah, they're on there. We're not going to ever play them. Boo. I don't know why. I don't even know what you're supposed to get out of those. Bad. All right, so there's that. All right, I did what I said we were going to do. We're going to play everything in the first book, or in the classical book 0 again. Let's go play Iberian Dance. By the way, you have a way better Iberian Dance in your orchestra stuff than this one, but this is sort of a miniaturized view of Malagueña, right? So let's play it. Okay. Nice and slow. It's supposed to be quarter note equals 126, which is rather quick. We don't need to play it that fast. It's Malagueña. We can play at whatever speed we want. 1, 2, 3. Like that, make it crazy slow. Okay, here we go. Sorry, this has got to be, you got to get the quarter note and then 2 eighth notes and then a quarter note. Fun part. So all those today were a little iffy, right? But at least we're replaying them, double checking that anything that we're not playing well. I'm not playing any of those well because I think I have an attitude problem about them. But we got them knocked out. Okay, so didn't get to Caruli again tonight to shake off the sadness of the not great songs out of Book Zero. Go play that Caruli there, sitting on the top of the list, and you will be like, oh yeah, that's good. All right, let's see. Sight reading, I guess. yeah, it's fine. And so next week, as you guys know, I'm just going down the list on here because I said we would replay everything in Book 1. It was probably not the greatest decision I've ever made, but that's what we're doing. So next week, not next week, we'll have 2 weeks off. But if you want to look ahead. We just played Iberian Dance, so you're on number 23 of 38 out of the book. So Aeolian Mode, Exercise 15, Exercise 17. James Brown will try like heck to get to Lesson 62 next time, which is a really nice piece of music. So you could go ahead and start peeking ahead at that stuff. And really, that list there on Book 0 on the classical page, that's a pretty nice list. Like, seriously, that should be just each day pull one up and just play through it, sort of thing. So There's that. Let's see. So again, remember the millionth reminder. I will not be here next Wednesday. I will see all y'all on the following Wednesday, and patience with guitar. It's super hard, and I'm always amazed at even on these relatively simple songs how many mistakes I make. So it is what it is, right? And there comes a day, I think, when all of a sudden you can play at a higher level, but that day you have to get through the not playing at a higher level until you do. So we have lots of good music on the site. Keep playing it, and I will talk to you all. Well, all three of you guys, I will talk to you tomorrow, probably. But if you're just watching the recording, I will see you guys in 2 weeks on this Wednesday night session. Have a great week, and I will see you later. Peace.